Finally, for this PowerPoint slide, we will look at these questions. So this is a new concept. So see how you go. The slide here is to look at these few examples from the 2 YouTube clips showing you how to simplify expressions by dividing the terms. So watch the examples, copy the examples down to go through the process. Okay, you can't just sit and watch these things, students. You need to write it down so it goes into your brain better, basically. There's an old saying that is to see it is to forget, but to do it is to learn it a bit better. Okay, to hear is to forget, to see is that you might remember, but to do is to learn is the saying. If you hear it, you'll forget it. If you see it, you might remember it. If you do it, you will learn it. So by doing it, by writing down the examples as these YouTube people do, it starts to teach you and you'll start to learn the process. Okay, so here are the questions that are on the PowerPoint that you're going to have a go at by yourself. Okay, they're from a textbook, and again the answers are on the next slide. So you know you've got to exercise some self-discipline. Have a go at a couple of questions by yourself. Click to the next slide to check the answers. If you get them all right, that's fantastic, but if not, I'll put the video link on this slide to help you through finding your mistakes or you identifying what you don't understand, and I'll see you in class soon so you can ask me as well. Okay, here goes. The last round of questions is to simplify. One thing I do want you to realize actually with these divisions is that sometimes they can be written like this: 5a divided by 10a. Okay, so that's exactly the same. 5a divided by 10a is exactly the same as this division. This division is so much more visual and helpful for getting the answer back. Okay, so what we do is you have to know your times tables. You have to look at this and go, well, 5 can go into 5 and into 10. Okay, so I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 5. The YouTube clip ones were more straightforward. It would be something like 10 divided by 5, and he would give you the answer 2. So those ones were more simple. We've progressed more to these ones where the numerator might be smaller than the denominator. Okay, so you go, well, 5 goes into both of these. 5 divided by 5, okay, 5 divided by 5 gives me 1 on the top, and 10 divided by 5 down here, okay, gives me 2. Then we've seen in the other YouTube clips that we cancel out our variables. If they're on the top and in the bottom, they cancel out, because let's say a had a value of 3. If you go 3 divided by 3, the answer is 1. Okay, so that's why you cancel these out. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so we could put here multiplied by 1, multiplied by 1, but it starts to get confusing and it starts to become too much working for what it is. So really our answer is 1 over 2, because the a's cancel out. Just like if it was 3 divided by 3, they'd cancel out to be 1, and the 1 doesn't make a difference to the answer. Okay, so our answer is 1/2 because the a's got cancelled out. Okay, this one here, just to remind you, can be 7x divided by 14y. It's exactly the same question. We look at this and we say 7 divided by 7. So 7 is the number that we're going to divide top and bottom. You have to know your times tables to know that 7 goes into 7 and 7 goes into 14. So 7 divided by 7 gives me 1x on the top over 14 divided by 7. So whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. It's just like a fraction. We're simplifying a fraction here. 7 divided by 7, whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. So 14 divided by 7 is 2. And our y is our variable on the bottom. Okay, we can't get any more simple than that because the x and the y cannot be cancelled out. Our 1 and our 2 can't go down any further like a fraction. So our answer is 1x and 2y. Okay, I'll just check on the next question. Okay, I was just checking too that the textbook does put it as x and 2y. Okay, same thing. If you did that in a test, it's perfectly correct, but we sort of say mathematicians are lazy and leave out the 1. All right, here we go. We've got 10 and 12. I'll just worry about my digits first. Okay, they're both even numbers, so 2 can both go into them. Then I think about some other numbers. 4 goes into 12 but not into 10. 5 goes into 10 but not into 12, so we'll stick with 2, and we can further simplify later if we notice that it has to go down further. Let's divide that by 2, and what we do to the top we must do to the bottom. 10 divided by 2 gives me 5. 12 divided by 2 gives me 6. Okay, what I have left on the top is an x and a y, and on the bottom I have a y. So now we cancel out our y's, and our final answer is then 5x over 6. Okay, so remembering that this could be written as AB divided by 4B. Sometimes your textbook questions or a YouTube clip might write it that way, but this is so much more visual. This one's really easy because all we have to do is cross out the b's. The b's disappear, and all we get left with is A over 4. That one should have been done first. There's no other constants there to divide into each other. Okay, so this time I can see I've got 21 and 7, so I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 7 to get it into its simplest form, because that's what we're doing, we're simplifying. 7 divided by 7 is 1, we can get rid of that later. What we have on the top part is x times y times z. Okay, 21 divided by 7 gives me 3 times y times z. Okay, so our final answer doesn't include the 1. Okay, we cross out the y on the top, and we cross out the y on the bottom. Cross out the z on the top, cross out the z on the bottom, because they're cancelling each other out. What we've got left at the top is 1x, or just x, over 3. Last question, just to remind you, it can be written as 2 divided by 12x. Same question, this format's more helpful. Let's divide the top by 2. Let's divide the bottom by 2. What we do to the top, we have to do to the bottom. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. No variables on top. 12 divided by 2 is 6x. Okay, if you had 1 over 6x in your test, I would give you the marks. I'm pretty sure the textbook will just leave it as 6x as your final answer. Okay, we'll do some more of this in class when I get back on Tuesday and Wednesday before we move on, but that's for people who are able to work through simplifying by dividing your terms. See you soon.